Bats came alive to help pick up the first road win in 1 month. They look for a repeat performance tonight inside Guaranteed Rate Field as the 4-game series continues against the White Sox. Welcome to a perfect night for baseball in Chicago, everybody. I'm Audra Martin. Not only did they get a big performance from the Bats, but the Twins were backed up by a very impressive performance from their bullpen. They got this team out of 2 bases-loaded jams and did not give up a single run, keeping them in position to pick up that much-needed victory. It's the latest in what's been 3 impressive games and a big turnaround for the bullpen. In that stretch, they've given up just 1 earned run compared to 13 strikeouts in 9 2/3 innings of work. Compared to the previous 12 games, they've given up 13 home runs and posted a 9.38 ERA. So now it's all about putting April behind them and just looking forward to the rest of May.
I think the breaks are starting to come our way. I think people are building on the success that they've had and kind of taking another step forward. The warm weather helps with the grip, I think. But yeah, just learning from your mistakes in April and then making the necessary adjustments.
Brian Dozier and Eduardo Escobar stole the show at the plate last night. Dick Kramer and Roy Smalley take a look at what's hopefully a sign of good things to come for the Twins coming up next.
Link, connecting you to the power of the digital world. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. Boy, is it a beautiful day in Chicago. Gorgeous weather. And from Guaranteed Rate Field, it's game 3 of 4 between the Twins and the White Sox. And a former Twins pitcher, Hector Santiago, will get the start for the White Sox. And Lance Lynn hoping to keep the walks under control and give the Twins his best start of the year tonight. And we welcome you to the south side of Chicago. Dick Kramer along with Roy Smalley for game 3 between the Twins and the White Sox. Of course, the Twins have been playing for quite a while now without 2 of their marquee players, Byron Buxton and Miguel Sano. And they need players to step up to fill the void of their absence. And last night, Brian Dozier may have turned a corner in that regard.
One of the most important guys in the lineup to step up in the absence of those other 2 productive players. Brian broke from the gate in spring training. He's swinging the bat well, then got mired in just an awful slump. But this 2-strike triple down the right field line, really very, very good at bat. Looked like it kind of got him going. Next time up, got a fastball in the middle of the plate, and he finally squared one up. He's missed a lot of those pitches in the slump, but he squared that one up. Would later drill a line drive past the shortstop. It looks like Brian is starting to bust out of it in a big way. The Twins could really use him.
And with Sano out of the lineup, Escobar's played a lot of third base, and he swung the bat like Miguel Sano.
The only question I think in anybody's mind, including Eduardo's, is when he could play every day, was he going to be as productive as he was part-time? Well, I think that has been answered. He has carried this club last year and this one.
Twins hope to put together a winning road trip. It's a long one. The Twins with a win last night, trying to make it 2 in a row tonight. And a happy Cinco de Mayo to all of you who are of Mexican or Mexican-American descent. And they are celebrating Cinco de Mayo here in style. Just a wonderful rendition of the national anthem with the mariachi band out there. Fantastic. And the Twins do hope to win back-to-back games. Had a disappointing loss here on Thursday night with a lead early on, and then it slipped away late and the Twins got walked off. And a better game last night. And the Menards batting order for the Twins has a different look, and we'll explain that in just a second. Joe Mauer in the leadoff spot. Brian Dozier, Max Keppler, Eduardo Escobar, Eddie Rosario, Mitch Garver catching, with Jason Castro going on the disabled list today. Logan Morrison, A-Ray Adrianza, and Ryan Lamar.
The home furniture starting pitcher for the Sox, familiar face, Hector Santiago. Getting his second start of the year. Hasn't pitched an awful lot of innings yet. Twins know this guy. We'll see if we'll talk a little bit about how they have to be successful against Hector.
And Santiago making his second start in place of Miguel Gonzalez, who was on the disabled list. And Mauer in the box, got one hit in the ball game last night, 1 for 5 as a leadoff batter. And the pitch is outside, ball 1. Mauer with a batting average of .289, but he has drawn 23 walks, and walks have been an issue for Santiago again this year. 2-0. A little over 20 innings and 10 walks, and that's too high.
That's him, though.
That's what the Twins saw from him.
Yeah.
The inability to throw strikes consistently. 2-0 to Mauer. And now a strike on the outside corner.
So that's what the Twins hitters, I'm thinking, have been talking about with James Rowson, the hitting coach. And you get this guy, if you make him throw the ball right down the middle where you want it, he will throw it there.
And Mauer with a line drive hooked into right center field. A solid single. And Mauer's aboard now for Brian Dozier. Sanford Health injury report involves Jason Castro, who tweaked his right knee in the ball game last night. Paul Molitor thought it happened in his final at bat. They don't believe surgery will be required. They hope that a week and a half of shutdown time will allow Castro's knee to heal. And Bobby Wilson called up from AAA. He is here, and we would expect Mitch Garver to do most of the catching for the next week and a half at least. Inside to Brian Dozier.
So we've already seen how you have to attack Hector Santiago. You look for the ball like it's 2-0 and 3-1 all the time. Look for the ball right down the middle and take everything else. He can't throw enough strikes. You have to make him prove that he can throw enough strikes. Don't make outs on close pitches early.
2-0.
Because you will get a pitch to hit. And I was going to say, we saw how Joe Mauer's at bat as an example of how you have to approach him, but Joe Mauer takes every at bat that way.
Right.
So he's not the best example, except he is the best example. The way Joe hits all the time is the way that the Twins should hit against Hector Santiago.
2-0 to Dozier. And a check of Mauer at first. In last night's game, the White Sox got a couple of first inning runs. See if the Twins can do some damage against Santiago here tonight. Big swing and a miss. 2-1. Dozier a double short of the cycle last night. Tripled in his first at bat. And a home run and a single. Just outside, and it's 3-1.
Brian, very, very important in this lineup against everybody, of course, but particularly right now with Buxton and Sano out against left-handed pitching. Important for him to be productive against left-handers in the midst of all the left-hand hitters of his teammates around him.
Big pop-up, back, and out of play. 3-2. Twins got Santiago from the Angels. They also got Alan Buznitz, who's been up and down with the major league club the last year or so. Ricky Nolasco went to the Angels, and Nolasco was in spring training with the Royals and got released late in March, and I don't believe he's in anybody's organization right now. 3-2 to Dozier. That's a chopper. What a pickup by the third baseman. Sanchez, one away. That second hop just took off, and Sanchez was able to flag it down.
Fantastic athletic play by Sanchez. You watch Brian whip the ball down the line, and the ball, as Dixon comes up hard, he's able to stay with it. Soft hand, soft glove as the ball was coming in there. Regain control and fire it across to get Brian Dozier. Nice play.
Mauer goes to second, and now Max Keppler. The Twins have actually hit left-handers better than right-handers so far. They haven't seen much left-handed pitching, and Kepler's a big part of that. He's really done well against lefties so far this year. Breaking ball over. Outside, 1-1. saw Keppler's numbers against left-handers. Twins as a team hitting .249 against lefties and .241 against righties. Outside, 2-1. Bauer at second after his base hit against Santiago. And when Santiago was with the Twins, left-handers hit him better than right-handers, and that's the case again this year, although he's only, as we said, thrown a little over 20 innings. Just off the plate. 3-1 to Keppler with Escobar on deck.
So you try to hit against Santiago like it's 3-1 every pitch until you get 2 strikes. Now when it is 3-1, be very disciplined. Get exactly the pitch you want. Put a charge in, and if it's there, take it if it's not.
And there is ball 4, first and second, 1 down. And that'll bring up Eduardo Escobar, who had a great night last night at the plate.
He has really developed into a very solid, consistent hitter, and he believes it wholeheartedly himself now. He makes the ball down in the strike zone, makes the pitcher get it down. Now he's not swinging the balls up in the zone nearly as much, and he's very, very good when he does get the ball down in the zone. He did that 3 times last night. Big hits.
His 14 doubles lead the major leagues. Trying to put the Twins up here early in the first inning. At the knee, strike 1. And Escobar hitting .318 as a right-handed batter. Driven to center. Angle going back. Still going back. He won't get there, and Escobar has another double. His 15th of the year. Mauer scores, and Keppler is anchored at third.
Another great at bat by Eduardo Escobar. Got a little bit unlucky there with the ball hitting the hard warning track dirt and bouncing over the fence instead of staying in the park. Keppler scores easily from first base if that ball stays in. You see here, we've talked about how he uses his legs to drive. There's a little breaking ball of some kind. He drives the ball over Engel's head, which is not easy to do either. Engel can really run, but he just put a charge in that one. And as I said, hoping that ball would stay in the park. But now there's 2 of them out there for Eddie Rosario.
Middle infield playing back. Corner infielders about even with the base. Keppler can take a big lead because the third baseman Sanchez is about 30 feet from the third base bag. Outside, ball 1. Rosario surprisingly has struggled a bit against lefties, hitting just .182, but he has just 22 at bats. And a strike, 1-1. In his career, as you see, it hardly makes a difference.
Yeah, that number will change. That batting average number will change against left-handers as the season goes on. I think Eddie Rosario is going to develop into one of the better hitters in the big leagues as well.
It's popped up and out of play. 1-2. Situations like this, Twins have not been very efficient. They got one on the board, and the White Sox are all but giving them another if Rosario can just put a ball on the ground past the mound up the middle.
Yeah, this is a scenario where you really want to be thinking center of the diamond with your approach as a hitter. You got ground ball scores a run, fly ball scores a run out in that direction.
And there it is. And Escobar, or Rosario rather, will get an infield hit with Escobar going to third. Good approach by Rosario, and he gets an RBI single, 2-0. First and third still only one out, and now Mitch Garver trip to the mound here in the first inning. Check out the White Sox in the outfield. Nicky Delmonico in left mid, great catch in foul territory. Angle can fly. Trayce Thompson's in right. Sanchez, Anderson, Garcia, and Abreu the infielders, and Wellington Castillo back behind the plate. Two on the board for the Twins. And now a conference between the second base umpire Gary Cederstrom, the crew chief, and Stu Surewater. And I don't know whether we might not have had a double trip to the mound here, whether someone retreated as Garver did about a week ago. That's the only thing I can think of that they're talking about. But they're going to notify Paul Molitor and Rick Renteria about something. I think it's a lineup issue because home plate umpire Stu Surewater is correcting his lineup card, I believe. So I don't know whether the White Sox blundered somehow in turning in the wrong lineup card, but that seems to be the issue here. So something caught Gary Cederstrom's attention. He wanted to talk to Stu Surewater, and we believe that there's a mix-up in the Chicago lineup. Now I'll match it against what we have. Garcia, Sanchez, Abreu. That's what we have. Well, we'll get it clarified and let you know what the issue was or is. Here is Garver. Inside, ball one.
I'm trying to figure out what it might be. When the umpire started to have the conference, the first thing I thought of was that Rosario hit out of turn. That there was something with the Twins side that was wrong. But this has been the lineup there. The Twins have hit in order according to the lineup. So then I thought, well, maybe the two managers had it differently and handed in two different lineups to the home plate umpire. But I really don't know.
The discovery was after Anderson made a play on the ground ball. And there's a strike, 2-1. Now, last year, the White Sox came to Target Field and they had 3 Garcias in the outfield, but they've only got 1 Garcia on the roster now. First and third, 2 in and 1 out.
Pretty good hitting Garcia on the disabled list right now.
Avisail on the DL. Bounce to the right side, and it'll bleed through and score another run. Rosario scampering to third, and the throw is not in time. Good first inning for the Twins, and Garver punching a single to right field, and it's already 3-0.
Very good hitting by Mitch Garver. Staying on that pitch, rolling the ball behind the runner at first base. Good base running by Eddie Rosario, going first to third with 1 out. Good gamble. He was in there. It was relatively close play, but he was in there. This ball out away from Mitch. He just went right with it. You see Eddie Rosario making a good turn around second. Hits the inside corner of that base.
2 first inning mound visits, with Santiago walking 1, giving up 3 hits so far, 4 hits. And still at least 1 more out there to get for Logan Morrison. Morrison hitting at a .345 clip over the last 8 games, and he's 2 for 5 with 2 home runs against Santiago.
Still only one out. Runner on third with only one out. A couple of guys out there for the power hitting Morrison. Take a shot, driving in. Twins have done a good job so far of exactly what we were talking about. Make him throw the ball where you want to hit it.
Mauer went up the middle. Escobar went up the middle. Garver punching his base hit to the opposite field. Rosario up the middle. There's a strike on the outside corner. 1-1.
See, that's a good take. You don't want, that's not the pitch you want to swing at. If you can throw 3 in a row there, you tip your hat to him. You do the best you can when you have 2 strikes. Try to fight it off with 2 strikes. No sense swinging at that pitch right there on the corner from Santiago early in a count. The odds are just with you if you lay off the perimeter pitches and make him throw it. He will throw it in the middle.
And there was a pitch up, and Morrison swung through it. And it's 1-2.
Catcher going out. The catcher for the White Sox going out, calling a play there in case there's a double steal.
But Paul Molitor, rightfully so, tried to get the attention of Surewater and say, hey, was that a mound visit? You're allowed some latitude, but Castillo that time stepped in front of the plate. And a half swing, Morrison stays alive. You do not have to go all the way to the mound. If you come out in front of the base, whether you're an infielder or a catcher, and you engage in conversation, the umpire can count another mound visit.
Well, I think it's reasonable to point that out if you're Paul Molitor, but the catcher's talking to the infielders right there. And unless he went out and made some infield gestures, but was actually talking, the umpire could hear him talking to the pitcher, that'd be a different thing. But he was talking defense.
And Morrison chases, strikes out, 2 away. That'll bring up Adrianza.
Morrison, a low ball hitter as well, and not as good upstairs. And he chased one there. Swung and missed one that was a high strike, and that one he went up. Santiago went up the ladder and made him chase one outside the strike zone.
And now Adrianza, 5 hits, 14 at bats as a right-handed batter. And he takes a belt high strike.
Adrianza can really use one here. I'd like to see the young man get a base hit. Hasn't had an awful lot of opportunity to play. Hasn't swung the bat particularly well when he's been in there. But watching him, it just feels like he's pressing just a little bit to stay in that lineup. I'd like to see him do well here.
Inside. One and one. Opportunity for Adrianza in the absence of Miguel Sano to get some time at short. As now there's the opportunity for Garver to do some catching with Castro on the disabled list. Fouled away. That's 1-2. I'm trying to figure out what the umpire discussion was about. Meanwhile, the pitch count climbing for Santiago, 33. This will be number 34. And I wonder whether it's not DH related, but I don't see Palka out there in the outfield. 1-2 to the Twins shortstop. There goes the runner at first, and Garver will return to first base. Still 1-2. There are the umpires. 4-game series. Of course, everybody gets plate duty as the umpires rotate clockwise. Piazza pops it up with Garver off again. And Garcia will put an end to the inning. Good one for the Twins. 8 men bat and 3 score. And Lance Lynn has some early run support. He thought he was going to have a long run managing in the north side of Chicago, but then Joe Madden became available and they disposed of Rick Renteria, and I think he is the perfect guy here on the south side with a young developing team. And the Menards batting order for the White Sox: Lurie Garcia, Yolmer Sanchez, Jose Abreu, Nicky Delmonico, Wellington Castillo, Daniel Palka, the designated hitter, Trayce Thompson, Tim Anderson, Adam Engel. At least that's what we were handed. We still don't know what the lineup snafu, if that's what it was at all, what it exactly is.
The home furniture starting pitcher on the mound for the Twins, Lance Lynn, looking to turn some things around here.
And the first pitch ominously to the backstop. That's been the issue for Lynn. Throughout his big league career, he's been a guy who walks a little more than 3 per 9 innings, and that walk rate rose last year a little bit, and everyone thought it would be better this year, but it's been frankly awful. 1 walk per inning pitched. 23 walks, and of those 23 walks, 8 have come around to score. 1-1.
Which is frankly lucky.
That's to the left field corner and foul. 1-2.
I think 8 scoring on 23 or 24 walks. That's I would have been surprised. You told me that number earlier, right, and I would have thought 12 or 15 guys would score on that many walks. Lance Lynn, an interesting, really interesting guy, interesting stuff.
And fastball.
Good fastball. He's got a very good fastball, and he'll go through streaks in every game where the fastball looks like it overmatches people, and he's throwing it right on the corners. He's throwing strikes a lot, and then he'll lose it and go and walk a man or two and go 2-0 or 3-1 and get a big fly. So the same fastball plays and doesn't play.
High fastball strikes out Garcia. 1 away. Let's get tonight's scoop from Audra Martin.
Thanks, guys. In order to make room for Bobby Wilson on the roster, the Twins transferred Ervin Santana to the 60-day DL. The good news, though, that doesn't affect his return table. He's eligible to come back on May 28th, but Paul Molitor says they were expecting him to be back the first week of June, as it was already. Now, Trevor Hildenberger said being called on to pitch in the 8th inning last night was an awesome vote of confidence from Paul Molitor. He said he felt like he was back last year when he was having all that success in the 8th inning. He would love to have that responsibility again, but he's happy pitching anywhere they need him. And speaking of the bullpen, things have turned around the last few days. everybody available tonight, except they would like to give Addison Reed a day off if possible. Now, I did find out what the situation was with the umpires. It was because the Twins temporarily lost replay capabilities, so the other team cannot use them in that time frame, but everything's fine now, guys.
Sanchez dumps one into the corner, and he's got a one-out double.
Sanchez has swung the bat very, very well against the Twins in this series. That wasn't that bad a pitch. Lynn came in on him and really beat him on the fastball. It looked like Sanchez able to muscle it down the right field line. Yep, he got down toward the label, but Sanchez able to get enough of the bat head out in front, so the direction was perfect.
Sanchez with 3 hits last night. He starts his night tonight with a double. Here's Jose Abreu. Inside to Abreu. Got a hanging breaking ball last night from Jose Barrios and clobbered it for a 2-run home run. The 131st home run for Abreu in the big leagues. 4 behind the great Minnie Minoso for Cuban-born Chicago players. And I don't know that Abreu, I mean, Minnie played till, didn't he make an appearance in his 50s?
I think he did, absolutely.
I don't know that Abreu will last that long.
But he's going to pass Minnie in home runs, I guarantee you that.
1-1 to Abreu. That's driven to right center field toward the gap. Keppler with the catch. Sanchez coming around third, and he will score on an RBI single from Abreu. So a strikeout and a pair of hits, both going to the opposite field. And that'll bring up Delmonico.
Abreu's just going to hit. He's going to get his hits, and you can't throw it where you want to all the time. And down there, we talked about it last night. There's no future in that ball down there against a lot of guys, especially in older days. But against a lot of guys, down's okay, but not against that guy. You've got to pitch him inside and up.
Here is Delmonico.
And I'm talking about with fastballs. That's
right.
The case.
Missing inside. Opponents were hitting .290 against Lynn coming into the game today, and then you mix in all the walks, and you can understand why he's 0-3 with an ERA of over 8. Twins have handed him a 3-0 lead, and the White Sox have already struck for 1. Fouled back, and it's 1-1.
So far, I like the way Lynn's throwing the ball, though. Much more. He looks much more in command of the strike zone. When he's missed close. We've seen him in the past where when he misses, it's a long ways away from the strike zone.
And now outside 2-1.
But he's throwing his fastball in decent spots. Sanchez got him on a high inside fastball that he more directed than hit well. He hit it down toward the label, and Abreu's going to get his hit. You're not going to prevent that.
And a shift beater. Delmonico grounding one to left field with 3 infielders on the right side. And the White Sox getting some opposite field hits, as the Twins did on the top of the inning. And that'll bring up Wellington Castillo.
You can see only one man on that side of the infield for the Twins, and didn't get a sinker away. The hitter Delmonico goes with it.
And this is not the guy Lynn wanted to see with 2 men on base, because Wellington Castillo's had great success against Lance Lynn. 8 for 12 with 3 home runs. So he, as they say, sees the ball well from Lance Lynn. delivered low, ball one. Castillo, of course, bulk of his career spent in the National League with the Cubs and then later with the Diamondbacks, last year with the Orioles. There's a strike that covers the inside corner. And another opposite field hit. Keppler charges and they're loaded up with one out. 4 straight hits, and all 4 have gone to the opposite field. Bases loaded now for Daniel Palka. Let's get our Pizza Ranch for the win here with the Twins up a couple.
So the key to the win tonight, we're already seeing just a little bit, but Lance Lynn needs to find the strike zone. No question about it. He has found the strike zone better so far tonight in this early first inning than we've seen in the past, but the White Sox are knocking him around a little bit. But first things first, I mean, you have to eliminate the walks and eliminate the 2-0 and 3-1 counts. He's done that so far, but the White Sox swinging the bats pretty well.
And Sanchez pulled his double, but then Abreu went to the opposite field. Delmonico to left. Castillo with a base hit to right. And now Palka, who homered here 2 nights ago, comes up with the bases loaded and one out. The Twins use one of their mound visits in the first inning. Dug out by Garver, ball one. Lynn has struggled. Of course, we've made note of the fact that he showed up in the middle of March. Alex Cobb, a late signee for the Baltimore Orioles, he's really struggled. He's struggled worse than Lynn has. Greg Holland, the closer for the Cardinals, signing later than Cobb, and he has had a terrible time throwing strikes. Outside, and it's 2-0.
Well, there's no real mystery to that. We've all said and heard for years and years and years that spring training's for the pitchers, and if the pitcher doesn't get spring training, I got to believe that everything gets thrown off pretty severely.
Big pitch here early on. The Twins still up a pair, but it's 2-0 to a power hitter. And there's a strike on the outside corner. 96 miles per hour.
Yeah, he's got a good fastball. 96 with movement. Throws that ball right on the corner. That's
wasn't the corner Garver was targeting.
No. That's been a bit of the issue.
2-1. 3-1 with the bases loaded. Back to your thought, there is a reason that for spring training pitchers and catchers report before the position players, right?
Yep. And still aren't quite ready in terms of the pitchers. They still aren't quite ready when the players are, with 10 days left to go in spring training.
3-1 to Palka. Ground ball, could be 2 to the bag. A double play, and Lynn escapes a huge mess in the first inning with just 1 run allowed. We were in the 9th inning. And Albert Pujols got his 3,000th hit. Said he wanted so badly to get it at home in Anaheim, but he got it in the first game of a road trip. Paul Molitor can relate to that. That's what happened to him. He wanted to get it at the Metrodome, but he got it the first night in Kansas City.
What a hitter. What a hitter he has been. One of the best of his, if not every generation.
Mays, Aaron, and one other guy are in both clubs, the 600 home run club and 3,000 hit club. There's ball one going to the backstop.
Well, Albert Pujols with his 3,000 hits, and now a select club membership of 2 people.
Yeah.
3,000 hits, 600 home runs, 600 doubles.
600 doubles.
Henry Aaron.
There's a pop-up coming in from third base. Sanchez makes the catch, and Lamar is retired, 1 down. Tonight's Coors Banquet Timeless Moment happened on this date in 1978. Pete Rose became the 13th player in history to collect 3,000 hits with a single off the Expos' Steve Rogers. And then went on to collect over 1,000 more hits and break Ty Cobb's hit record. 1 down here in the second, and Mauer lined a single to center his first time up. It was interesting reading and listening to Pujols' comments after getting the milestone hit last night. He said that was the biggest individual achievement he's had, and just last year against the Twins he hit his 600th. Now the 3,000 hit club, as we said, that's a bigger club than the 600 home run club, but for whatever reason he said that the hit last night, the 3,000th hit, was the most significant milestone he's reached. 2-0 to Mauer. 3-0.
I think he's, I can see that. Hit 600 home runs. He's a power hitter. Hit 600 home runs and hit 3,000 hits. You're just an all-time great hitter. And only 3 people have done that, and only 2 people have added as part of those 3,000 hits and 600 doubles. I mean, think about that. 600 home runs, 600 doubles, and 3,000 hits. It's mind-boggling.
3-1 to Mauer. And he takes up high. He draws a walk, and he's reached both times against his former teammate.
Anytime that you can say it's only this person and Henry Aaron, that gives you an idea.
Dozier with a ground ball to third. He hit a 2-hop smash, and Sanchez made just a wonderful play. Second bounce coming up, hitting him in the heel of the glove. He stayed with it, threw Bryant out. Twins went on to score 3 runs, but if you've watched Thursday night or last night, you know early leads haven't lasted. And Dozier takes up high, ball 1.
I think there's a fairly good chance that the Twins are going to need to score 6-7 runs tonight. So just every time you get up there, every hitter, figure out that what your approach is. Have good at bats. Look for the ball in the middle of the strike zone. Take everything else.
1-0 to Dozier. And an off-speed pitch over for a strike.
A little change up there. It was in the middle of the zone, but it wasn't the speed Brian was looking for. Ted Williams always said, rule number 1 is get a good pitch to hit. Rule number 2 is if you're fooled, take it. Don't swing at it if you're fooled. Don't make an out on something you weren't looking for. Until you get 2 strikes, of course.
Big pop-up. He got Dozier out on his front leg. And Anderson comes in to make the catch out number 2.
There's an example of why it's hard to do what I just quoted Ted Williams as saying. The changeup floats up there. He wasn't looking for a changeup. I know he was looking fastball. You said he was out on his front leg. If he was looking for a changeup, he wouldn't have been out in front of it. So here's the changeup. He's looking at fastball speed, and he's just a little bit out in front of that. It's very, very difficult. That thing comes floating up there, and you see it, and you're out. You know you're out in front of it, but it just looks like you can hit it. Ted would say, if I was fooled, I wouldn't swing.
Here's Keppler, walked and scored last inning. He takes outside, ball 1. Yankees beat the Indians this afternoon 5-2. Yankees have now won 14 of their last 15 games. And they have, in that span, a run differential of plus 58. And that is fanned on by Abreu, but he gets back to the bag with Garcia making the play in short right field. Bottom of the second coming up, and the Twins up a pair. Off in the second, has just 5 hits, 3 of them for home runs, including his walk-off home run against Addison Reed here on Thursday night.
Got a low fastball, or what looked to me like a cutter. And again, he's one of those guys that the lift kind of swing, that ball downstairs there. That's where they like it.
1 strike from Lance Lynn, who gave up 4 hits and a run in the first. Strike 2. The Twins expect Lynn to do simply what he's already done. They want him to be the pitcher he was with the Cardinals. Nothing more, nothing less. Throw strikes. That's a check swing, and Thompson's claiming it got him on the hand. And I'm not sure Stu Sherwater's buying it. He's called him back. And they're saying it hit the bat.
Yeah, I think it hit both. Be my guess. Ball ran in, up and in. He starts to swing, holds up.
Oh, it got him in the wrist. It didn't hit the bat at all.
Didn't hit the bat at all.
Hit by pitches can be reviewed. In the original replay setup, they were not, but that will be challenged, I'm pretty sure, by the White Sox. And they're not.
Well, maybe it hit the knob of the bat. Boy, that's.
I thought it hit the wrist.
Yeah, I did too. It might have hit the knob. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So it's 2 strikes to Thompson, and now a full swing foul.
Here's the reason why I didn't think it hit him. If you get hit with a pitch and the umpire says you weren't, you are much more demonstrative about the fact that than Trayce Thompson was there. He knew he didn't get hit. He didn't argue.
2 strikes. The worst I ever saw was a few years ago when Gene Segura, when he was with the Brewers, acted like he got drilled in the ribs. And in a replay, we showed the ball missed him by a foot. That was the worst acting job I've seen since a Schwarzenegger movie. That was terrible. 2 strikes to Trayce Thompson. Just off the corner, 1-2. 95 miles per hour, nearly hit the corner. Now you look at the pitch count, it's already up to 28.
I will tell you, though, that the 28 pitches are coming primarily on because of the base hits, all the base hits in the first inning. No walks. That's a great improvement.
And Lynn opens the second inning as he did the first with a swinging strikeout. And look at the Twins out in the field with Lamar in center, flanked by Rosario and Keppler. Escobar, Adrianza, Dozier, and Morrison with Mauer the DH. And again, Mitch Garver doing the catching. Bobby Wilson backing him up with Jason Castro going on the disabled list. 1 down, and now Tim Anderson. Swing and a foul, 1 strike.
Well, just to kind of amplify the point about not walking people, Lance Lynn gave up 4 straight hits in the first inning, only 1 run. If he mixes in walks in there, it might be a 5-run inning.
Right.
And
right.
you have to make guys get base hits to get on, because hitting's hard to do, and then you got a whole bunch of guys standing out there behind you, like they did on the double play, trying to get you out of it.
And I was with you when I dug open my book to look at the walks for Lynn and how many of them scored. I fully expected 12 to 15.
Right.
Anyway, it was 8, and 3 of those were in his very first inning in Pittsburgh when he gave up the grand slam in the first. Here's a pop-up, short center field. Dozier retreats to make the catch, 2 away. Boy, that double play that Lynn got to wrap up the first inning. Just the first inning, that might be the play of the game.
Yeah, gigantic. But he's been around the play. He's been in the strike zone or right around the strike zone now for 8 straight hitters. And yeah, 4 guys got base hits, but you have to keep firing it in there and don't walk people, and don't give them too many chances of 2-0 and 3-1. And he hasn't done that. This has been encouraging.
Adam Engel will hit with 2 down and the base is empty, and a pop-up down the left field line. A very long run for Rosario, and he gets there, crossing the line and making the catch. And a much better second inning for Lance Lynn. He threw just 11 pitches. And I kind of think of Escobar now as the type of player Nick Punto was, from the standpoint of Punto played a lot for the Twins, but he never had a job until something else happened, if that makes any sense. He was a utility player, and then there'd be a hole at short, so they'd put Punto there and he'd play reasonably well. then there'd be a hole at third base, and then he'd go over there the next year, second base. And Escobar's kind of filled that same role. He's not the same type of player. But Escobar, frankly, coming into spring training, wasn't sure how much he was going to play. The Twins presumably were set at third base with Sano, Polanco at short, Dozier at second. So if you're a utility infielder and you've got fixtures everywhere in the infield, you're kind of wondering how much you're going to play. Well, then the Polanco suspension opened up shortstop, and now the Sano injury opens up third base. Swing and a miss. 2-1.
And what people thought for the longest time is that Eduardo Escobar could play well and hit well in short periods, of short spurts, but couldn't handle it on an everyday basis anywhere out there at shortstop or third base. Last year, I think he proved everybody wrong about that. Proved to himself that his ability is big league worthy, and he's a very, very valuable part of this team.
Popped up 3-2. I don't know that when he was in Chicago anybody imagined him hitting cleanup in a big league uniform or a big league lineup. But what, 15 doubles, 6 home runs, 18 runs batted in now. Those are cleanup hitter numbers.
And you think about it, there almost hasn't been a big run that he hasn't driven. He's driven in just about every big run he's looked at out there.
Now he's taking a leadoff walk here in the third. And Rosario will bat next. This summer, the Minnesota Twins are offering baseball camps designed for kids ages 6 to 14 of all skill levels. Campers receive a full Major League Twins uniform, a VIP trip to Target Field, including a chance to meet a Twins player and coach, plus much more. This is as close to the Twins baseball experience as you'll get without being drafted. Learn more and sign up today at twinsbaseball.com/training. Here is Rosario, an RBI single, his first time up. I believe it was a called strike. Rosario with a half-hearted swing toward the end. 0-1. And Escobar chased back to the bag. The return of the Rosario, Buxton, Keppler outfield might be imminent soon. Byron took batting practice today with the rest of the guys. Didn't do any running today, giving his foot a day off. But it might be that, almost certainly it would seem, Buxton's return to the lineup will be before Sano's return to the lineup. 1 strike to Rosario. And he takes up high.
Good take by Eddie right there. We all know that he's a free swinger, is Eddie Rosario. One of the best things about him is how aggressive he is. One of the worst things about him is that aggressiveness. Also, when he's swinging outside the zone, he's done much better second half of last year and this year, getting good balls to hit.
1-1 to Rosario. Swing and a miss. 39 of Santiago's 56 pitches have been from the stretch, giving you some idea how his night has gone. Started early with a Mauer leadoff single in the first, and now a leadoff walk in the third. See, Santiago's got something written on his cap, the initials DF. That is for Danny Farquhar, number 43. And I think many of you know the story. Farquhar, relief pitcher for the White Sox, collapsed in the dugout about a week ago. And so he is being remembered. He's doing fine. In fact, Logan Morrison and Jake Odorizzi, former teammates of his in Tampa, went to visit him yesterday. 2-2. And a deep drive to right field. Back and gone. A home run for Eddie Rosario. And the Twins take a 5-1 lead. And Rosario's driven in 3 of the 5 runs.
Well, he got him in 2 strikes and got a little breaking ball on the inside part of the plate. Laid off pitches he shouldn't swing at. Missed one I thought he might, but he caught up to that one. As we were saying, he's going to hit left-handers. He's going to hit left-handed or right-hander. When he gets that short little swing going, he's got as good a hands as there is, and it just really solid.
Inside to Mitch Garver. Santiago's faced 15 batters. He's delivered 4 first pitch strikes tonight. There's a second pitch strike. It would surprise you. It surprised me. Rosario's home run, just his 2nd hit in this ballpark. The way the ball flies here, I'd have thought he'd had 6 or 7 by now. Strike 2. Think so. Bouncer to short. Anderson has it. Now Abreu has it, 1 away. And that'll bring up Logan Morrison.
It's good to see Logan Morrison start to swing the bat better than he has all year in this last stretch of 8 or 10 games. He's been working very, very hard at it, trying to shorten his swing down.
And Santiago misses badly outside, ball 1.
When you're in a slump, there 2 things are generally happening. You're missing pitches that you should hit, and then swinging at pitches you should never swing at. Balls that are either outside the strike zone or on the corners early in counts, where you get yourself in trouble with pitches that you're probably not going to get base hits on anyway. He's trying to clean that up, trying to get good balls to hit. But he really felt like his stride was over long, which caused his swing to be over long.
And that's called a strike. 2-1. Twins lineup starting to click. 5 early runs and a 5-1 lead. And now 3-1. When the Twins got Santiago from the Angels, he had just completed the best month of his career. In July, he was 6-0. And the Twins swung the deal, and a lot of people thought, why on earth would the Angels trade somebody who was 6-0 with a good ERA? I mean, he didn't have an ERA of 4 or anything like that. He was really pitching well. And then, of course, after coming to the Twins, had some injury issues. He never was able to replicate that success. Three and 2. Shoulder problems, back problems last year. And Morrison takes a walk. 4th walk issued by Hector Santiago. And now Adrian.
I think we're seeing kind of the MO for Santiago. We saw it with the Twins, and you know, it's total speculation. I mean, you ask a question that's mostly rhetorical, I suppose. Well, how would you trade a guy that's was in a streak of 6-0? But I think the Angels saw what we see, you know, and they said, well, we're going to take a chance on somebody else. We got a chance to trade him when he has some high value, but we really don't think he's for us in a long-term role as a starter.
To use your Monday through Friday terms, the Angels sold high.
They
right?
Sold high, exactly right.
Boy, a broker has been for what? How many years you been in the brokerage business?
21 years, actually.
Okay.
Financial planning and wealth management. Not broker so much.
1-0 to Adrianza. Hit a pop-up to end the 3-run first inning. Still no activity in the White Sox bullpen. And now down the line, chased by Delmonico, and he can't make the play. Morrison around third. He's being waved around, and the throw from Anderson is not in time, and now Adrianza is out at third base. Delmonico dove for the ball, and the ball got by him. And credit Adrianza now with an RBI double, and it's another 3-run inning for the Twins with 2 down.
Looked like a little changeup or something Adrianza's out in front of, but like Sanchez in the first inning for the White Sox, he hits it in the right spot, tries to take third, and had he been able to get his left arm under him and reach for the bag, I think he would have made it. It's a good gamble with 1 out, trying to get there to make it. When the play's going to be that close, that's a good gamble with 1 out, and I actually think he would have been safe with a better slide.
Here is Lamar. Strike now, ball.
I also thought that Delmonico got to that ball.
Yeah, I did too.
It looked to me like he was going to catch it, and then he went into his dive and just missed. Just missed it.
Made a great catch in foul territory, and that time it looked like the glove was where the ball was going to be.
Yep, it did. Thought he was going to catch it. So nice hitting by Adrianza. Better base running than than what he got out of it. But another good 3-run inning for the Twins.
Called third strike, and Lamar is out on strikes. The Twins had 3 more in the third, and now it is a 6-1 lead. Eddie Rosario plating 2 with a home run to right. And maybe a sign of improvement for Lance Lynn, who's retired 4 men in a row. He was in a real mess in the first inning. He gave up 4 straight hits, but he got a big double play grounder to give up just 1 run in the inning, and then he followed with a 1-2-3 second. But we have seen that before from Lynn, and as you said, something happens and he loses his command, his release point or something. We'll see if he can sustain it here for a few innings. There's a pitch outside, ball 1. Leury Garcia, the second baseman. The White Sox put Yoan Moncada on the disabled list today. He left the ball game last night with a reoccurrence of a hamstring injury. And Moncada's kind of the nucleus of this team here in Chicago. They hope to be good in a few years with Moncada at the kind of the centerpiece of their lineup.
really highly touted player in the minor leagues. It hasn't he been? They've been waiting for him for a while, thinking he's going to be very, very good.
On the ground to Adrianzo, over to Morrison, one away. Yolmer Sanchez will bat, but first we'll hear from Audra Martin.
Hey guys, it's time to take a look at tonight's showstopper. The Dodgers and Padres opened up a series in Mexico last night, and it could not have gone much better for LA. Walker Buehler kept San Diego's bats silent for 6 innings before giving way to the bullpen that followed in suit. 4 pitchers accounted for the 23rd no-no in team history, but it's the first ever combined no-hitter for the organization. They ended up with the 4-0 win over San Diego. Guys.
Thank you, Audra. And of course, conversely, it's one of the great oddities in Major League Baseball right now. The Padres still have never had a no-hitter. Never. They came into existence in 1969. And they've had some great pitchers come through there. But they have never had a no-hitter. And last night, they were no-hit. Down and away, a ball. 1-1. So what, 162 games times 30 for roughly 50 years. That's a lot of baseball games without a no-hitter. And a pitch is up, 2-1.
I don't think of the Padres as I'm trying to remember some of the good pitchers that have been there, and especially starters. I don't remember no-hitter kind of stuff. I remember Randy Jones, a terrific pitcher there.
Right.
You know, those kind of guys. I don't remember. I'm probably missing somebody.
Well, Gaylord pitched there for a while towards the end of his career. Greg Maddux towards the end of his career.
Well, yeah. But again, not really no-hit stuff.
Right.
You know, at the end of their careers. Plus, you don't get to throw no-hitter if you cheat and use Vaseline on the baseball.
Ethan, our stats guy, has got terrible hands. He proved that the other night. But he's added it up. The Padres have played 7,847 games without a no-hitter. 7,847 games. 2-2. The Mets never had one until Johan Santana got one.
Well, with Gaylord there, they can't say they never had a no spitter.
On the ground slowly to Dozier. Sanchez retired, and Lynn has set down 6 men in a row. So I asked you, and I think you answered Dave Righetti's no-hitter on the 4th of July, but any other, you were never part of a shared doubleheader, were you?
Nope. A shared no-hitter, no.
2 down, and now Abreu. Had a talk with Rick Renteria, the White Sox manager, about what I opined the other night, that it seems like every time we see Abreu, he is thinner and in better shape. And Renteria said, yeah, they got to him a couple years ago. They got to Abreu, and they got him to buy into watching his diet, working out, keeping his weight, in fact losing some weight, and having a more athletic body. Swing and a miss, and Renteria said, well, the selling point to him was, look, you want to play a long time, you've got to take care of yourself. You've got to watch your weight. You've got to exercise and improve your flexibility and all of those things. And he's become maniacal in terms of working out and maintaining his weight. You like to see that.
Yeah, you do like to see it, and it can only help. It can't hurt. The better shape you're in, the longer you play, the better you'll be day in, day out. And I don't think there's any question about that.
2 strikes to Abreu. And blocked by Garvin. A few years ago, when Jim Thome was playing for the Twins and the Yankees were in town, and we did a dual interview with Thome and Derek Jeter. And Thome, of course, his body type had changed quite a bit from his rookie season. But one of the questions for Jeter was, you know, he looked like he could fit into his rookie uniform. His body, he took great care of it, and he played a long time because of it. But his physique didn't change much from when he was a rookie.
No, not at all. And it's one of the great things, one of the many great things about Derek Jeter, and probably the reason that he was the number one reason he was as great a player as he was. He was a tall, lanky guy. He's a lot taller than people think. He's a tall, lanky guy, and he had sensational body control for somebody that size.
We knew Tony as a designated hitter. We remember him as a first baseman. We tend to forget he came up with the Indians as a third baseman.
And he was a thin, wiry guy. Could still hit the ball 9 miles, but he was not a big lumbering, DH type. He was a specimen.
1-2 to Abreu. Got him out on the front foot, little fly ball, short center field, and Lamar puts it away. 7 in a row, set down by Lance Lynn. Brought to you by visitbuyfordnow.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. By Grand Casino, the best stories start here. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. I hope you got out a little bit today. It was an absolutely gorgeous spring day in Chicago. It was fantastic.
It is beautiful today.
6-1, Twins in front. Scoreboard looking pretty good too. Here's Joe Mauer to lead off the fourth against Hector Santiago. And Santiago misfires again on the first pitch of the at-bat.
So time to get a couple runs now and get into the bullpen, get Santiago out of there, get into the bullpen, stress it a little bit. Everybody continue to go up there and have the good at-bats that most everybody in the lineup's having. Have some fun.
There's a strike.
Get to feeling good about yourselves as a lineup, as individuals and a lineup offensively. Get into the bullpen, stress them out for the rest of this game and tomorrow. Good opportunity here.
And when Santiago's missed to left-handed batters outside, he's missed badly. My favorite guys, and when he was with the Twins, Santiago, just a really good man. Having a tough time staying in a big league rotation. And now 3-1. Twins looking to improve their mark to 12-17. We mentioned the Indians lost. They're now 17-16. And we'll say it again. The Twins, as poorly as they played for that 2-week stretch, are so lucky that they didn't have anybody in their division like Boston or New York take off and run away and hide. They didn't do that because the Indians have some issues of their own. draws a walk, and now Dozier, who got 3 hits last night.
Great swing on a ball that Brian's been missing or popping up. We've seen him hit so many home runs on that pitch right there. And that was the classic Dozier swing, put it in the seats. Hopefully that got him going here a little bit.
You hit around in the batting order an awful lot.
Different places?
That's what I meant, yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, so did it make much of a difference to you where in the lineup you hit?
No, it really didn't. I hit from 1st to 7th. I hit most of my career early with the Twins, 2nd, 3rd, sometimes 4th. Hit.
Foul back 1-on-1.
Hit 5th and 6th and 7th for the Yankees. Came back here to the Twins, hit 6th and 7th. A lot behind Puckett, Herbeck, and Gaetti, and then Bruno and I. Bruno, depending on the pitcher and everything, we kind of traded off 6th and 7th.
Saw Volstead warming up now in the 4th inning. Pitch count very high, 82nd pitch coming up. A high fly to left. Delmonico back with room. 1 down. That'll get us to Keppler. May 22nd is Star Wars Night at Target Field. A limited number of Star Wars Night theme night ticket packages are available that include a game ticket and a Joe Solo bobblehead. Go to twinsbaseball.com/Star Wars. Learn more about the Star Wars Night theme night offer. Here's Keppler, a walk, a run scored, and a ground ball. Waiting and fouling it back. Outside. Santiago started his big league career with the White Sox in 2011. And was dealt to the Angels, or to the Diamondbacks first, although he never played for them, and then to the Angels. White Sox got Adam Eaton in the trade with Arizona. And then they got Mark Trumbo. The Angels did. The Angels gave or traded Mark Trumbo to Arizona to get Santiago. 1-2 to Keppler. Another one. You can see it almost before he releases the ball. His mechanics seem really out of whack, pitching specifically to left-handed batters. He's trying to hit the outside corner, and he's pulling it 2 feet outside.
You can see there he had the big pitch count in the 1st inning, and then again in the 3rd. Those are the 2 big innings that the Twins have. But his mechanics have always been inconsistent, and that's always been Santiago's issue. He's got a good arm. He can throw different pitches at all different speeds. He's proud of that. He likes to do that. He claims he has about 8 or 9 different pitches.
And Keppler with 2 strikes taps it foul.
But he's never been consistent with, I mean, pick out 2 or 3 of those 8 or 9 that he says he has. I mean, he's just never been consistent strike thrower with any 2 or 3 he can pick out.
And Keppler will see another 2-2 pitch. Full count. Mauer's reached all 3 times. We don't think with a 6-1 lead that he'll be taking off here. He didn't take off when the game was scoreless in the 1st, so why would he go now?
That really has the most to do with whether or not Paul Molitor thinks that the hitter's going to strike out. if he thinks there's a fair chance that the hitter's going to you got a strikeout pitcher on the mound and the hitter's got a tendency to strike out, then he won't send him here with 1 out.
3-2. And he took ball 4. Good plate appearance for Keppler. He's drawn a couple of walks, and Rick Renteria is going to come out and make the move. Rugged outing for Hector Santiago, as the Twins have already scored 6, and he will leave the game with 1 out, 2 more men on the bases. So a pitching change for the White Sox here in the 4th. Olstead comes in for the 8th time this year.
Olstead's pitched well in this series so far. Sinking fastball. Twins didn't do much with him so far. When they've seen him this series, we'll see if they can do something here. A couple guys on base. Escobar got a chance to drive in some more runs.
Escobar's driven in 1. He scored 2. It's been a real good night for the Twins. Now they have been given another opportunity here in the 4th. Big pop-up straight up in the air. And coming back is Castillo. And he lunges and makes the catch. It was hit so high it got above the shell of the ballpark here. And the wind is blowing down the right field line, and he had to make a late adjustment to make that catch. That's a really good play.
Well, the ball's spinning back toward him anyway. All catchers are taught that, and he was waiting for it to come back, but then the wind got it and it took it toward the first base line, and he was able to stay with it. Good concentration and keep it in his glove when he hit the ground.
And now Rosario. An RBI single in the 1st, a 2-run home run in the 3rd. All of that, both hits, coming against the lefty Santiago. Strike 1.
Those pop flies really spin when they stay in the playing field. I was interested in your story last night about watching the one in the stands that spun back to you that you caught.
I'm not sure what was more surprising to me, that it spun back as far as it did or that I caught it.
They're both amazing feats of physics. Hanging breaking ball right there, or one that at least settled in the middle of the plate. Rosario, as he can, put a charge in it, and here he comes against left-handers. As we said, there's not going to be a whole lot of difference between left-handers and right-handers by the time the season's over.
Hook foul on an 0-2 pitch. Mauer and Keppler walked. Olstead got a quick out of Escobar and now dueling with Rosario. Very high. 1-2. Day game tomorrow. Twins will send Kyle Gibson to the mound. James Shields going for the White Sox, and the Twins go to St. Louis for 2. And have an off day after traveling to Anaheim for 4 games against the Angels. Tap foul, and Rosario buckles at the plate.
You can see he's wearing that shin guard, protective shin guard on his right shin, where hitters almost always. But that's not the shin.
Wellington Castillo got a foul ball in the same spot, had to miss a couple of games, so he's probably able to commiserate with Rosario a little bit, your White Sox catcher. Happened to Yadier Molina today in the Cardinal game. 1-2. 2-2. And the good thing is that Rosario knows that whenever he gets back to the dugout, he will be embraced and comforted by his teammates.
Nobody will be laughing. That's correct.
2-2. Hooked foul. Driven to deep center field. He put the barrel on it, chased by Engel, and off the wall. Great carom played by Engel, and the Twins will send 2 runners home on a booming double by Eddie Rosario. And Rosario now a triple short of the cycle, and he's driven in 5 runs. That's impressive.
Classic Eddie Rosario swing. Breaking ball here. Hits back through the ball. He thinks he got it all. The guys are going to give him some. They're going to be laughing at for a couple of reasons. He thought he hit the ball out. The ball stayed in the park. Anytime you do that, you're going to take a lot of grief from your teammates as well, and from the manager. The coaches said, "You better run, son." He just barely pulled into second base by the time the ball got back to the infield. But another great at bat by Eddie.
Down and away in the dirt with Mitch Garver in the box. An RBI single his first time up. All 8 runs charged to Hector Santiago. And now up 2-0. Three in the first, 3 in the third, 2 so far here in the fourth. And the Twins doing better with runners in scoring position in this series. Garver takes a strike.
I want you to see this swing. The best. Watch his hands stay back. That's a breaking ball. It looks he was out in front of that pitch with his stride, but not with his hands. And he's got such great fast hands that when they stay back like that, when he's ready to swing, that big end of the bat comes whistling with his hands, because he swings from all the way back at the launch position. He might stride out there, and he he might be fooled in his lower body just a little bit with speed, but his hands stay back.
2-1 to Garver.
You say, how can he hit the ball that far to the opposite field when he's fooled like that? And it's because even if he's out in front just a little bit with his lower body, his hands stay back, and when he finally recognizes speed and decides to swing, he has a complete full swing at it. Not many guys can do that. Can be full out in front and have still have a full swing at the ball.
3-1. I've told the story before, but not recently, when Rosario was coming through the Twins system before he ever got to the big league. Bill Springman, who was the roving minor league hitting instructor, said that Rosario had the best hands the Twins have had in their organization since Rod Carew. Now, I don't know what that means, having good hands as a hitter, but I know if you're in a select group with Rod Carew, that's the highest compliment you can be paid.
I think what he meant by that is another way of saying what I'm saying, and that is when Eddie Rosario swings the bat, you want to get the big end of the bat to the ball, and when his hands move at the ball, the big end of the bat goes to the line, down the line of flight of the ball. There's no loop in his swing; it goes right to the ball.
Garver draws a walk, 2 aboard now for Morrison. The Twins seem intent on doing what you suggested they should do, and that is get the bullpen involved early and let them lather up here tonight, and maybe some of them won't be available tomorrow because of that.
Well, we've talked about it on the Twins. We talked about the role guys and where they need to be, and when you get a starter out early, then the roles start getting blurred and guys are in different spots, and maybe that will be the case tomorrow. You know that Renteria, the manager for the White Sox, saves all those left-handers for the primarily left-hand hitting lineup of the Twins.
Morrison, I think, thought that pitch was outside, but it was called a strike.
But the other positive piece of this for the Twins lineup is everybody continue to feel good at the plate. Work on what you're trying to do and have some success and have fun. I mean, this gets contagious when you start doing this. Last night was a good offensive output by the Twins. Today is. It's an opportunity for them to all start feeling really good about themselves individually and as a lineup.
2 strikes to Morrison. And a take and a block by Castillo. Down and in, 2-2. And Volstead steps off. Morrison with a strikeout, a walk, and a run scored. Twins getting production up and down the lineup. And Morrison, I think, thought strike 3 was in the same vicinity as where strike 1 was called. A couple of runs for the Twins, and they got an 8-1 lead.
Eduardo Escobar just put a charge in one to center field, hit a double to drive in a run, and that would really jolt the first inning. Scored 3 runs in the first. Eddie Rosario would in the 3rd inning with a 2-run blast. And Rosario again, just this past inning, it's a breaking ball, goes the other direction off the left center field wall. And we've seen the power that Eddie Rosario has to the opposite field. Shows it again there.
We have an issue down on the right field corner, and I don't know what it is, whether a door is open. For some reason, everyone's looking down into the right field corner. And now whatever the issue was, it has been resolved, and we're ready to go. 7-run lead for the Twins. Lynn has sent down 7 men in a row. And as he has delivered his first pitch in the 4th, he's walked nary a batter.
Been right around the strike zone the whole game so far, the first 3 innings of it anyway. Right around the strike zone, either in it or just off. Hasn't walked anybody, as Dick said.
And now 0-2 to Delmonico, who's single. White Sox have 4 hits, and they came in succession in the first inning. Twins had just scored 3. The White Sox got 1. They had the bases loaded, 1 out. And Daniel Palka hit a hard ground ball into the shift. Adrianza started a double play. And Lynn's been pitching from the windup ever since. That's to left. And Rosario trapped it. And a ball lobbed into second base. And it'll be a double for Delmonico. Good to see that from the White Sox standpoint. And Rosario unable to get much on his throw, throwing it from his backside.
Yeah, not so good to see it from Eddie. Obviously, he's got to jump up. He trapped the ball. He made a really good play, not sitting that the ball didn't get by him. He trapped it. Okay, now get up and play. That doesn't do any good there. He wasn't hurt.
So a double for Delmonico to start the 4th. And Castillo will bat. Strike on the outside corner. Pitch count at a range now where you can reasonably hope, if not expect, Lynn with the big lead should be able to give the Twins those 6 innings. You don't want to see any 33 pitch innings or anything like that.
Just keep pounding the strike zone. Just keep throwing it in there. Let your guys play behind you.
That's line foul. That's 1-2.
It's also a great opportunity for Lance Lynn to solidify where his release point is, what his arm slot needs to be. Just really bury in there. Oh, that's right. This is me. This is what my motion looks like. This is where my arm goes. This is how I throw my stuff for strikes.
1-2. I'll be curious to see what the struggles that Lynn, Cobb will have on the free agent market next year. Greg Holland too, we mentioned he's struggling after signing late. Whether the player or the representation will be more eager to get players into camp on time, because on the pitching side pretty much everybody who signed late is off to a terrible start. Now remember, a few years ago the Twins signed Kendrys Morales, a DH, but he was signed in June.
Yeah, that wasn't until June.
And because of his tenure, the Twins had to bring him right up in the negotiation that went on. The Twins had to bring him up to the big league roster, and he wasn't ready for it. Fouled off a leg. So I don't know that anybody predicted what the market was going to be like this past offseason. And it'll be one of the fascinating things to watch next offseason.
That is an interesting point, because I expect all these guys, Lynn, Cobb, Holland, all of them by the end of the year to have pitched very well after they get their spring training out of the way here by June 1st.
There's a breaking ball, got him.
Yep.
Strikeout, and the third of the ball game for Lance Lynn.
So if they do as I would expect, and they all are pitching well by the end of the year, as we watch the ball hang inside a little bit, but after pounding them with fastballs in, kind of froze Castillo a bit. So assuming they all pitch well by the end of the year and they're all still desired and desirable and desired around baseball, it will be very interesting. Your point's very well taken to see how quickly they get with another team, or with the same team, but re-signed.
So we got a miss by Palka. Palka's ground ball might have been the turning point of the game, with the Twins getting out of that first inning with just one run allowed.
I don't think there's any question that it was, and it was a turning point in the game for the Twins, but especially for Lance Lynn after all the struggles that he's had getting out of first innings without having any trouble, short starts. Looks like it's getting ugly again here. He gets out of that inning, but he hadn't walked anybody. He was throwing strikes, and getting out of that inning, I think, allowed him to come back and just keep pumping strikes here. He's found a little something.
2 in the dirt now, and it's 2-1. .62 pitches for Lynn and 44 strikes, which is a really good percentage.
Yes, it is.
2-1 to Palka.
No walks, no free passes.
2.
Make him swing the bat. Yeah, we've seen him throw 95, 96 consistently all year long, and he's got a good fastball. Runs away from left-handers, in on right-handers. We've seen him chew through a lineup. It's really just been the lack of control that's hurt him, and it's been totally different today.
2-2 to Palka. A high fastball got him, and now back-to-back strikeouts. Delmonico is still at second base. Trayce Thompson will hit next, and I think many of you know that he is the son of a Minnesota icon. Jim Dutcher on the right, Flip Saunders on the left. Michael Thompson, the great postman of his era in college basketball. They were really, really good. And Michael Thompson with the family shot there. Michael now doing some broadcasting work on the Lakers radio network. And talked with Jim Dutcher, Michael's college coach, yesterday. And asked him about the shells that Michael wore around his neck. And he reminded me, Coach Dutcher did, that Michael's nickname was Bells, because when he first came to Minnesota, he had little jingle bells threaded through his shoelaces, and he would jingle as he ran up and down the floor. And finally, the Big Ten office said, no, you can't be doing that. But his nickname stuck, and he was known within the locker room anyway as Bells Thompson.
Well, even more importantly than that, I want to know where Dutch found a shirt with a collar that matches pants.
Two strikes to Thompson, and Lynn finishes with a flourish. Delmonico with a leadoff double, and then Lynn goes K, and he's got 5 of them through 4 really good innings. game. This is always a popular destination for Twins fans, especially later in the summer. I ran into a group of guys from Grand Marais, Minnesota today, and they were the ball lifted a short left, long run for Delmonico, but he gets there and makes the catch one away. Adrianza quickly retired. Guys from Grand Marais were looking for some Chicago deep dish pizza, and I'm guessing they found some. Not hard to find here.
Yeah. Right they did.
One down, and now Ryan Lamar. When the Twins come back here at the end of June, they will be in Chicago for a week.
That's right.
Twins have a 3-game series with the White Sox, followed immediately by a 3-game series with the Cubs. And then a bus ride about an hour and a half long up to Milwaukee. One strike to Lamar, 0 for 2. 1-1.
Such a better way to go, Chicago, Milwaukee, on a bus. You wouldn't think that a guy would want to ride a bus, but rather than go to the airport, wait for the plane, wait to get on the plane,
right,
fly up there, get on the bus again, right? Just get on the bus and cruise on up there.
Well, now how did you do that? Because back then Milwaukee was in the American League, and you must have had some trips where it was Milwaukee to Chicago or Chicago to Milwaukee.
Almost always Chicago and Milwaukee, and that's the way we.
You went on by a bus.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. Of course, a little different now. The Twins got to have a wonderful charter and all those. You get on the plane a little bit more quickly now than.
The ball driven to right field. Thompson is there. I'm picturing you.
We would go to O'Hare and fly commercial up to Milwaukee. Let's just get on the bus.
Twins fans, if you can't catch games on TV, stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go, presented by T-Mobile. Download the app, take Fox Sports North and Twins baseball with you wherever you go. Well, now you've got me picturing like you guys, like Morgan Freeman in the scene from Shawshank Redemption, where he's got the window rolled down and he's just looking on out of the distance. Wasn't that primitive, was it?
No, not quite.
Strike one on the outside corner. We got a really short flight when we go from Cleveland to Detroit, as we fly over the lake, and we're in the air for half an hour, something like that. Driven to the left field corner. 2 strikes now to Mauer. And Ethan, again, who's got absolutely no range defensively. With this tidbit, Chicago to Milwaukee might be the shortest commercial. Oh, might be. He's not saying it with any conviction at all. The shortest commercial flight in the U.S. Probably get up to about 7,500 feet, and it's time to come down, right? 12 minutes in the air, he says. An hour and a half to go through security.
Right. Well, we invariably we would be flying commercial back in those days, and you have to leave from O'Hare. It took an hour and a half to get from Comiskey Park to O'Hare.
And Mauer disagrees with Stu Surewater. Twins go down 1-2-3 in the 5th.
things to know about the Twins pitcher, according to his teammates. Logan Morrison says he likes to hunt and golf in his downtime from baseball. Cal Gibson appreciates the fact that Lynn was one of the MVPs of his Little League team from Indiana that went on to the Little League World Series. And according to Brian Dozier, Lynn refers to himself as Big Daddy. I didn't dive too much into that one, guys, but I can tell you his teammates get a kick out of it and they love his sense of humor.
Well, thank you, Audra. I'm sure he's feeling pretty good about how his night has gone here. This is his 4th start against the White Sox, and the other 3 were pretty good starts for Lynn. Of course, in interleague play, his career was with the Cardinals. And he's had a good start here. The main thing, as you said, no walks when he came into the game, walking 1 man per inning pitched. 1-1 to Tim Anderson, then Adam Engel and Lurie Garcia. Half swing and a strike, 1-2. Again, as poorly as the Twins played for 2 weeks, this is a rotation that should have, if it stays healthy, a pretty long shelf life. And we show the graphic. Obviously, Romero did a great job in his debut. Irvin Santana is going to come back by the end of the month. Barrios, he's going to be in the mix and capable of seemingly throwing a no-hitter anytime he goes out there. Gibson's been good. Odorizzi's been steady. If this guy can get things turned around, this is a rotation that should serve the Twins pretty well.
Well, it's like I said at the very beginning of the year. It's a rotation that should give the Twins a chance to win a ballgame every time they go out there on the field. Every single time. And we haven't seen that in a lot of years.
Another foul. Anderson doing some twists. The last time the Twins won a division, it was 2010. And the starters that year were Scott Baker, Nick Blackburn, Francisco Liriano, Kevin Slowey, Carl Pavano. And there wasn't a Cy Young candidate anywhere in there. Not by 2010. Liriano might have stolen a lot of votes away from Santana in 2006 if he stayed healthy. But it was that type of rotation where night after night there was a real good chance the Twins were going to win a ball game because they had steady starting pitching.
They had enough starting pitching every time out that, depending on how they caught the ball and how they swung the bats, they had a great chance to win the game. And I would argue they've got a better starting rotation this year than that year.
To the gap in right center field, and Lamar can't get there. It'll be another extra base hit for the White Sox. Anderson will pull up at second base with a leadoff double after a great at bat. Well, the White Sox got a leadoff double in the 4th and didn't score. And now in the 5th, Anderson splits the gap.
Well, you're right. He did have a good at bat, and this young man's got a lot of life in his bat. He swings at a lot of bad pitches and gets himself out a lot of times, but he can put a charge in one, and he has a good at bat and goes the right direction with that pitch on the outside corner. Not a bad pitch at all. 94 on the outside part of the plate, and you tip your hat to him. He just did a good job of hitting.
I was just going to say that. I looked up and Lynn took his cap off, and he may as well tipped it to Anderson because that was a pretty good pitch.
Absolutely.
Here's Engel. And a big pickup by Garver. When the White Sox got their leadoff double in the 4th, Lynn picked up 3 strikeouts. One and 0. 2-0. Lynn's night got off to such a rough start. The Twins used a mound visit in the 1st inning. And he got the double play grounder. And has scattered a couple of doubles so far since. A looper. Dozier tried to decoy Anderson, and it may have worked. Anderson will only gain 3rd base. Dozier acted like he had a play on it, and Anderson did hesitate a little bit. Now 1st and 3rd, nobody out.
Well, he beat Engel on that pitch with Lance Lynn, but he was up in the strike zone. He got just enough of it to loop it over the second baseman's head. Still throwing strikes. You got a 7-run lead. Keep throwing strikes.
Garcia with a strikeout in the first and a ground ball to short in the third. Slashed foul over by the turn.
That looks like Lurie Garcia's game. He's hit a lot of fastballs to left field. He hit a home run to left field the other night. And I really think that you've got to come in on him, make him prove he can handle the ball in, because he's been handling these pitches pretty well. Lets the ball travel back on the plate. Puts good swings on the ball, the opposite field. I think you have to stay in on him. He's coming in. Tried to, wanted to. Catcher wanted him to.
1-1. Twins will exchange a double play for a run here.
They want out right here. They'd love to have two. They're taking out.
They may get 2. 1, 2, a double play, and the run comes in, and it's 8-2. Anderson in from third base, and they're 2 away.
Good job by Lance Lynn coming back there. He gave up a cheap hit, but comes right back throwing strikes. Puts a nice little ground ball to Adrianza. He and Dozier turn it over. 2 big outs there. Gladly exchange those 2 outs for 1.
Base is empty for Yolmer Sanchez. Doubled and scored in the first inning. That's down the line and a twist foul. As for Lynn's nickname, Audra talked about, the guy's a big man, 6'5", 280. And
if he wants to be called Big Daddy, then
who's going to say otherwise?
He's going to be called Big Daddy.
And that's driven to right center field. Keppler will try to cut that off. He does. And the runner's trying for second anyway. And here's the throw off target. Another White Sox double. They've got 4 of those and 4 singles. 2 of the doubles by Sanchez.
Another double, I was going to say, by Sanchez. He's just been wearing the ball out these 3 games. I believe he can hit a pitch low in the strike zone. I think we've firmly established that.
I think you were with me working in Cleveland a few years ago when Keppler hit the 3 home runs one day and another one the next day, and Terry Francona said, you know what? I think we're convinced now he can hit that fastball down and in.
And I feel the same way about Sanchez on pitches low in the strike zone. He's hit every pitch, whether it's fastball or breaking ball. Every pitch that's been anywhere close to where he can reach down in the strike zone, he's hit a double on, it seems like. Or a triple.
Lynn will go after Abreu, trying to keep this an 8-2 ball game. Fouled away. One other note on Lynn, and I mentioned it during a spring training telecast, and I don't know whether I have during the regular season, but Twins were playing a game over at JetBlue against the Red Sox, and I went over to the backfield to say hello to Eduardo Nunez, and Tony La Russa was there, and talked with Tony a little bit, and he said, make sure you tell Lance Lynn he was one of my favorites. Now, they only overlapped in St. Louis 1 year, but La Russa said Lance Lynn was one of his favorite players in terms of being a clubhouse leader and of being very serious about his craft. And I thought, well, that's a pretty nice compliment for La Russa to pay Lynn, especially since when Lynn played for him, he was a rookie pitcher, and he must have made a very strong impression on the Hall of Fame manager.
I think anybody that's ever talked about Lance Lynn talks about, in one way or another, what a solid guy he is.
1-1, and now missing inside. pitch count climbing up to 85. The Twins would like to see Lynn get them through the 5th and through the 6th. But the White Sox have 3 hits from their 4 batters sent to the plate here in the 5th. High fly, deep center field, but Lamar has it measured. And the inning ends. Another multi-hit inning for the White Sox with just 1 run on the board, and it's 8-2.
We stand ready to serve all military families.
And here in Chicago, the Twins have an 8-2 lead, hoping to win back-to-back games. Closest the Twins have had to a laugher, and we're premature even using that term, but the closest thing the Twins have had to a laugher this year was their 7-0 win in Baltimore. They've won enough games, and the ones they've won have been kind of anxiety filled toward the end.
And the reason that was a laugher in Baltimore, even only 7-0, is because Jose Barrios just totally overmatched the Oriole hitters. There was, you got the feeling that game that there was not going to be a run scored by the Baltimore Orioles. That you knew that after the 2nd or 3rd inning.
Swing and a miss by Dozier, and it's 1-1. After a good night at the plate last night, Dozier is 0 for 3 tonight. He'll be followed by Keppler and Escobar. Twins have won 3 games in a row once. Of course, had the 8-game losing streak. On the ground through the hole. And Dozier picks up a hit, leading off the 6th. Are you game for a little excitement? Head to foxsportsnorth.com and submit a photo and message for the opportunity to be featured in the Minnesota Lottery Winner's Circle during our broadcast and receive $100 in scratch tickets with the Minnesota Lottery. Every day is game day.
Boy, I love seeing Brian drive that ball through the right side of the infield with a big shift around to the left side. Brian waits on the ball longer, gets himself a base hit going the other way. And 2 things, as we see pitching change here, Volstead leaving. 2 good things happen when Brian hits the ball to right field. He gets a hit and he watches the ball long.
He's on the mound to pitch to Max Keppler. Wasn't that long ago, I don't think. Guy get called up and he might sit in the bullpen for a couple of days. And now the way it is, if you get called up, you better be ready to pitch and pitch on back-to-back days.
You get called up for a reason.
Just outside, ball one. Keppler with a pair of walks against left-hander Hector Santiago. And that'll be an important part of Keppler's development against left-handed pitchers, drawing walks. And he takes a strike, 1-1. So far, Keppler's hitting .348 with 3 walks and 4 strikeouts against lefties. And the 2 walks should have raised his on-base percentage against lefties to over .400. Outside, and it's 2-1.
And the reason he's hitting so well against left-handed pitching is what we're seeing tonight and have seen here for the whole series against these lefties. He's taking a lot of pitches that he would swing at last year. Curveballs, be out in front. He's seeing the ball so much better. He's taking time to see the ball. Ball's outside, and it's a good take for Max because he took it looking at the ball rather than taking it, checking his swing. He saw that ball well. He thought it was outside. See, he sees it. It's outside. Okay, the umpire called it a strike. But that's a good take. He's watching the ball a long time.
2-2 to Keppler. Driven to right. Thompson back. Going back at the wall. He makes the catch, and Dozier will have to retreat. Just missed. Hitting a home run.
Real good at bat by Max right there. Took some close pitches, didn't offer at him. Got a pitch finally he could handle with 2 strikes. Wasn't out in front of it, just got under it just a little bit. Man, I thought I got that. I thought they told me the ball really carried this ball.
Here's Escobar. A double, a walk, couple of runs scored, 1 run batted in. And he takes strike 1. Now, as a switch hitter, you found yourself in stretches like the Twins have been in where they haven't seen much left-handed pitching, and that has to create a little rust or dust from the right side, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. You try to
pop up center field, angle over, out number 2.
You try to take batting practice both ways, left-handed and right-handed. When you're seeing a long streak of just right-handed pitching, for example, hitting only left-handed, but it's not the same as seeing a left-hander and seeing the ball break into you down the back foot sliders and different things with different arm angles from the other side. It's just not the same. If you don't see them for quite a while, you really are 2 different hitters as a switch hitter, left-handed and right. And it could be hotter than a firecracker left-handed, and it doesn't necessarily translate over the other side.
Here's Rosario. 5 runs batted in already for Rosario, a triple short of the cycle. And we gave you all the cycle information last night when Brian Dozier needed a double. Twins haven't had a hitter hit for the cycle since Michael Kadire. That was almost 10 years ago. An RBI single in the first, a 2-run homer in the third, and a 2-run double in the fourth. Earlier when we were talking about Rosario and his hands.
So this is what makes him so good. Watch his hands stay back. He's out in front, but his hands stay back, and then he drives through the ball, even though he's out in front of it. It's a total upper body swing. He had lost his legs a little bit, but because his hands were so far back there, full swing drove the ball off the left center field fence.
2-1. In terms of his extra base ability, Rosario reminds me a little bit of Tony Oliva. He can get doubles, he can get home runs, he can get triples. There's a strike on the outside corner, and I'm not comparing Rosario in terms of his hitting style to Oliva, just the production. And I don't know that Eddie's going to win a batting title. Tony won 3 of those. But when he gets locked in, he's one of those guys like Tony was. He can carry the club for a week or so.
You bet. He can be an extra. Oh, what a great jump.
Bouncer right side. Going to be a tough play for the second baseman. But Garcia makes it. Rosario's retired. The Twins are done in the 6th. The #1 selling brand in the Twin Cities. The hits are even, the runs are obviously not, and that is a function. When you think of the White Sox, they got 4 doubles and they bunched their hits together. They have just 2 runs. And the Twins, with the same number of hits, have 8 runs because they've taken 7 walks, and Lance Lynn hasn't issued 1 walk. Lynn has had some control issues, none of it appearing here so far. 86 pitches and 62 strikes. Nearly a 3-to-1 rate. There's a check swing and a strike. Trying to wrap up the 6th inning here. Swing and a foul.
And like many left-handed hitters, Delmonico liking the ball down more than up. You can see the target from catcher Mitch Garver wants the ball up, preferably in as well, but certainly more up in the strike zone than down. I'm anxious to see them pitch Yolmer Sanchez that way at least once. Pitch up, up, up.
Outside a ball.
So Mitch Garver there, if you were watching the signs, he put the #1 down there for a fastball and then turned his hand over, raised his, wiggled his fingers up. Now they're going to try to go back foot slide.
And a good take by Delmonico. Single and a double so far for Delmonico. 90 pitches for Lynn.
See if he tries to go back up the ladder. Inside fastball. Yep, inside. Couldn't get it in there.
A tough play. And Escobar with a strong throw across the diamond. Monaco hustling down the line, and Escobar showing off his arm for the first out. It's a whole new ball game with RBI Baseball 18. RBI Baseball delivers an all-new franchise mode and much more. RBI Baseball 18 is available now. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Rated E for everyone. 1 down, and now Wellington Castillo. Castillo with a single and a strikeout. just the 6th game the Twins have played within their division. The 4th against Chicago, and the 2 games in San Juan against the Indians. And the Indians, as we said, lost to the Yankees again today. Now have 16 losses. If the Twins win tonight and win tomorrow, and if the Indians lose tomorrow to New York, both teams will have 17 losses. And given the horrible baseball that the Twins played for 2 weeks, that's kind of pulling yourself up from the cellar floor to at least being mentioned as a competitor within the division.
Oh, what a nasty fastball. Lance Lynn is showing who Lance Lynn is tonight. He's around this, as I said, he's in the strike zone or around it. Good fastball, 93 to 96 miles an hour. And watch the sink on this pitch right here. 93 miles an hour, low, and just the bottom drops out of it. Great strikeout pitch there. Just continues to make good pitches. This is a big step forward for Lance Lynn.
And if it is his last inning tonight, as it probably is, he'd like to finish it with a 1-2-3 inning. Swing and a miss by Palka. And strike 2. Trevor Hildenberger getting loose. And a check swing, strike 3. Lance Lynn does have a 1-2-3 6th inning, picks up a couple of strikeouts along the way, and the Twins still lead 8-2.
Twins going in the very first inning with 2 guys on. One hopped a double over the center field fence. Eddie Rosario in the 3rd would hit a bomb of a home run to right field. He's had a fantastic game, driven in 5 runs. And the biggest story, the big story, Lance Lynn found the strike zone. Getting that good stuff that he has over the plate, punishing White Sox hitters. That is the biggest story of the night and maybe of the week for the Twins. Get that big guy going.
Garver takes a strike over the inside corner. If the Twins win tonight, they will have won 3 out of 4. And they got a great pitching performance from Fernando Romero the last game of the homestand. Popped up near second base. And Garcia makes the catch, 1 away. Join Fox Sports North and the Minnesota Lynx at Mall of America Rotunda for the Let's Celebrate the Lynx event Thursday, May 17th. You can enjoy games, the chance to win prizes, and more. Visit foxsportsnorth.com/events for details. The crowd on hand here, they announced the attendance, 23,765. Here's Morrison, and he leads away and takes a breaking ball for strike one. 2 strikeouts and a walk so far for Morrison. Swing and a miss. 0-2. White Sox have some pitching issues, and the Twins have benefited from that already in this series. 2 games in St. Louis. The Cardinals have a good pitching staff. That won't be the case there. But then to Anaheim, where the Angels have some pitching issues. I'll be curious tomorrow. Shohei Ohtani is supposed to start for the Angels, and he may get one of the games next weekend against the Twins. Matt McGill now warming up. Earlier it was Trevor Hildenberger. And Morrison strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. 2 down.
It's going to be Hildenberger if Lance Lynn couldn't get through the 6th inning, and now that he has, it's going to be Matt McGill to start the 7th, just like.
Twins had a bad stretch last year towards the end of May, and then they went out on the West Coast, had a really good series against the Angels, and that was the first turning point for the Twins team. And maybe this road trip will be the first turning point this year. Got a long ways to go, but the Twins are playing better baseball. The pitching's been a little bit better. Wrapped to 3rd, foul. Yeah, we talked about the Indians, and they've got some issues mainly centered around their bullpen. It is not as lock solid as it once was, at least so far. How about the Yankees, though? I mean,
that's a good ball club.
They've won 14 out of 15, and they've done it against teams that were in the playoffs last year. They took 3 out of 4 from the Astros.
It's a very good ball club.
In Houston, 2 strikes to Adrianza. 3 strikes. And Castillo will throw to Abreu to end the inning. Good inning for Fry. And we head to the bottom of the 7th.
Well, yes, it has been in or right around the strike zone all night long from the very first inning. Even though he gave up 4 straight hits in the first, no walks, around the strike zone after the first inning, just letting the stuff take care of itself. Very, very. Garvin said, "That is you right there, my man. That is you."
So Matt McGill will pitch now for the Twins. We'll see how long he is asked to pitch in relief of Lance Lynn. A couple of games for McGill.
I'm going to say that Paul Walter would like to see Matt McGill go 2 innings here. We'll see.
The batter is Trayce Thompson. Check swing and ball 2. Three and 0. McGill just added to the 25-man roster. On Saturday, made his Twins debut Sunday. Part-time starter in the big league, 6 big league starts. Pitched for the Dodgers and the Reds. Three and 1. And a long way, but it's foul. I talked with Trayce Thompson yesterday before the game. He said when he was first with the White Sox and they came to Minnesota, he made some phone calls and he got a tour of Williams Arena to see where his dad had played so well for the Golden Gophers.
That's great.
And he saw his dad's picture up on the wall at Williams Arena as one of the retired numbers. And he said it was a really interesting experience because the building itself is pretty interesting with the raised floor and all that. And so he made it sound like he took the initiative to see where his dad emerged as a really good basketball player.
That's really a great story.
Three and 2 to Thompson. And another foul.
Well, like his dad and his brothers, he's a very good athlete. He's got a great athletic body, runs well, throws well. The question will just be whether he can hit in the big leagues enough to let the defensive ability keep him in the lineup.
Full count. 8th pitch of the at-bat. Got him looking. Burned the outside corner. McGill comes back from 3-0 to strike out Thompson. 1 down.
A great pitch right here. He did not get this pitch called earlier in the count. It's right there on the corner.
If that's 96 and he can throw it there, he's going to be around a while.
There's the pitch right there that the great Ted Williams said if he had to hit that low outside corner, he hit it 220.
Replay brought to you by Carrier. 1 down, and now Anderson way out in front of the off-speed pitch. Anderson had a great at bat and finished it off with a double. Later scored a run in the 5th. And now 1-1.
I think Tim Anderson's a bit of a mystery to the White Sox. And the mystery might have been cleared up for me just a little bit. Maybe it's not a mystery to the White Sox because of this, but he has so much talent and really haven't gotten the full effect of that talent at the plate yet. Swings and misses a lot of pitches, swings a lot of bad balls. There's an example of that talent.
And a home run to left, and it's 8-3. A double and a home run for Anderson.
What I was going to say is I wonder why he hasn't been a better offensive player more quickly than he has. And I found out today that he started playing baseball very late, much like Max Keppler. Someone told me he didn't even start playing baseball until he was 17 or 18 years old, and that could explain a lot. But he's got a lot of life in his bat. You can see here a quick swing. Watch how quick this is. Watch how his hands, a la Eddie Rosario, his hands bring the big end of the ball really quickly. You would think a guy that has that quick a bat could wait and see the ball and not be so fooled by and swing at so many pitches.
Big pitch coming back to Engel. On the first pitch, he gets a pop up to Dozier. 2 down. At a stage in the game where a solo home run isn't insignificant, but it doesn't really do you much damage unless they build some things around it. And now here's the Dairy Queen combination. And probably not a coincidence that the bullpen has performed better as the starters have gone deeper. It kind of goes hand in hand, doesn't it?
Exactly right.
Rbi Garcia will bat. And earlier we were talking about the Indians, and they've got some issues. I'm sure they'll get them resolved, but right now their biggest problem appears to be their bullpen. And when they had the lockdown bullpen, they could pretty much count on the likes of Kluber and Carrasco on going 6, sometimes 7, even
6,
more.
yeah.
And so then things were set up. Well, Carrasco's had a couple of disappointing starts, and he'll get that figured out. Kluber's been Kluber. But it impacts even the best bullpens out there if starters are taken out before they complete at least 6 innings.
Well, it's absolutely right. And they also, I think, lost a key part of that bullpen in Brian Shaw.
Swing and a miss. 1-2.
Shaw's ability to pitch the 7th or the 8th every day just set up the rest of the bullpen. Cody Allen in the 9th. Francona could use Andrew Miller in the 7th or the 8th and the 6th if he wanted to. And so when you have those 3 guys at the end of the bullpen and good starters, all the other bullpen guys are only responsible for an inning here and there.
Right.
You could run 4 different guys out 4 days in a row for 1 inning before you got to the back end of that bullpen. But when the starters don't go very deep, then the roles all get blurred and guys get overworked, and that's when they start losing their effectiveness. Like 2nd or 3rd day in a row that the bullpen guy, one guy has to pitch.
Tried to clip the inside corner but missed. It's 3-2.
And the interesting thing about this bad streak that the Twins have had is that the bullpen hasn't been getting his brains beat in. They've been really good, and then one guy will give it up.
Adrian can't flag it down, and Garcia has his first hit, a 2-out flare to left, and that'll bring up Sanchez. Partial season ticket packages are now available in the Delta Sky 360 Club. Become a Twins season ticket holder today. Become part of the Sweet Spot Rewards program. You can learn more at twinsbaseball.com or by calling 800-33-TWINS. Trip to the mound from Garver. Trying to coax the 3rd out from McGill.
So just to finish that thought, what I was trying to get at is that the Twins bullpen has not gotten his brains beat in. They'd pitch really well and one guy would give it up, and then they'd pitch really well again and a different guy would give it up, and they'd pitch really well again and then a different guy. And that you can get in those streaks when starters don't go long enough. One guy or another. Garcia takes off.
Garver's throw.
Starters don't go very deep. That one guy or another ultimately is forced to pitch 2, sometimes 3 days in a row, and it's usually the 2nd or 3rd day in a row for a reliever that just not as effective. He got a good jump, a relatively big leg kick, and there really wasn't any chance.
1 strike to Sanchez. Foul back 2 strikes. Single runs for the White Sox in innings 1, 5, and now 7. On the ground weakly to Dozier. And McGill gives up a home run, just 1 run allowed, and it's 8-3. Angels coming into play today. And the White Sox bring Chris Beck into the ball game to pitch to the Twins in the 8th.
Twins have seen Beck before, saw him last season. Just brought up here from the minor leagues again.
And Lamar tees off on the first pitch. Solid single to left. His first hit of the ball game.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Joe Mauer's reached 3 times, a single and 2 walks. Lamar takes off. And Castillo's throw right on the bag. What a throw by Wellington Castillo. Anderson kind of got spiked by Lamar on the feet first slide. But what a perfect throw by Wellington Castillo.
We see him here. Pretty good jump actually by Lamar, but Castillo comes firing out of there, puts it right on the money, and then gets his wrist jammed, I think, a little bit by making a good solid tag. I like the way he put the ball.
The Twins are challenging this, it looks like. Boy, we'll have to look at that again.
I don't know what I
thought
missed.
The throw was right on the bag, and the ball was in Anderson's glove. At about the same time, the foot of Lamar.
Well, I thought he slid right into it.
Yeah.
I was just going to say it was a great tag. He put the hand of the glove right down, the tags him. Well, I thought he got him first. Before that, right there, it looked like he was he tagged him high on the knee, but I thought he got him right in the foot first.
Yeah, I thought he got him on the toe. Right
yeah,
there.
so gets him right there. That's
with the ball in the glove.
Right. And
who's the best throwing catcher you played with? Because you made that play a bunch of times.
Yeah.
You hope for a throw right where Castillo put it, right?
It's wonderful. I didn't mind it even just a little bit higher than that, so I could swipe straight down on it, but rather than have to catch it with my wrist and in that position get bent back a little bit by the runner's foot. But Butch Weiniger was very good. Rick Cerrone in New York was very good. Timmy Laudner was very good. I caught throws from catchers from a lot of good throwers.
Well, we've seen Sal Butera here.
Sal is very good. Yep.
Two strikes now to Mauer.
Tim Laudner did a really nice thing on the pregame show a couple of nights ago about, or maybe it was last night, showing how catchers start coming out of their crouch and firing out of there before the ball ever gets to the plate. Come up throwing.
Down and in. And a ball. White Sox came into the game with a team ERA of 5.02. The Twins 5.06. Indians, as unsettled as their bullpen might be, are giving up a full run less than the Twins are every game. And that one's slashed to left. Mauer has his second hit. He's walked twice. He's reached 4 times.
And if that's not just the quintessential Mauer swing, I don't know what is.
So the on base percentage will get a boost, having reached 4 times.
Wait a long time, watch the ball, let it get back over the plate, inside out it the other way.
Here is Dozier. Singled his last time up. It's are even at 10 apiece. All the Twins runs charged to starter Hector Santiago, who left back in the 4th inning. And Romero on the left, Eddie Rosario in the center, Jose Barrios, Gregorio Petit. Foul. Romero will pitch the first game in St. Louis. Barrios will pitch the first game in Anaheim.
Looking forward to see Romero's next start. See if he can follow up how good he was at home on Sunday. That was fun. Fun to watch.
0-2. Fouled away. Tenth pitch of the inning for Beck. Dozier hanging tough with 2 strikes. And he took the call, 3rd strike, 2 down. First batter that Beck has retired, and now Keppler.
Ryan got caught a little bit. He'd seen a bunch of breaking balls, pretty good breaking balls. And I think he had that breaking ball in the back of his mind just a little bit, but also a tough pitch right out there low on the outside corner. Pretty good strikeout pitch, especially after the breaking balls he threw him.
First at bat for Keppler against a right-hander. He's got 2 walks. A warning track fly ball his last time up against Fry. Strike on the outside corner. One strike to Keppler. And now a ball.
As much as left-handed hitters battle left-handed pitchers and try to have a good approach and try to figure out how they can, especially for Max, hit left-handers better, and he's done a great job. I got to believe they get a right-hander in the game, and he's got to run up to the box feeling a lot better. Good, get him over there that other side. Let me have a good look at it.
And now outside 2-1. Escobar on deck. It's 8-3, but we've seen the White Sox come back throughout this series, and they've gotten single runs, one in the 5th, one in the 7th. An additional run here for the Twins might make things a little easier back home for you viewers.
Can never have too many runs.
Keppler takes a strike. with the count full and 2 down. Bauer will take off. Abreu is just kind of standing behind him, not really holding him on. And there goes Bauer. And there is ball 4. Third walk tonight for Keppler. First and second. 2 down for Escobar.
And I think that Beck could be justified to wondering where that pitch was. Don't know if the umpire thought it was inside or low or awfully close.
Escobar doubled in a run in the first inning, scored, then walked and scored in the third. Have taken 8 walks tonight. Pitches up, ball 1. A high fly to right center field. Angle under it. And the Twins are done in the 8th. And it looks like Matt McGill is going to be sent out for another inning toward the work. Jose Abreu will lead things off against McGill, and he takes up and in ball 1. So you try to manage the lineup at this point, and if you can make sure that this is the last time you face Abreu, you're going to win a ball game, right?
Almost assured.
And a strike. It's a 5-run lead. McGill, in his 2 prior outings for the Twins, went 2 1/3 and 2/3. So the Twins here trying to get maybe a full 8th inning, and then we'll wait and see. Out of McGill. Up the middle. Dozier has time. Abreu doesn't run well, and Morrison was able to keep that left foot on the bag. A fancy footwork there from Morrison, who may have saved Dozier an error. One down, and let's go to Audra Martin.
Well, guys, Ray Adrianza and Eduardo Escobar had a special visitor outside the clubhouse last night after the game. It was former White Sox manager Ozzie Guillen. He's currently doing some studio work for the White Sox broadcast, but he had the night off, so he came by to say hi. Eduardo Escobar considers him to be like a second father after getting to know him and his family really well during his time in the White Sox minor leagues. And Adrianza has known him his whole life. His dad and Ozzie grew up together. They're great friends, and Ozzie is actually Adrianza's godfather. So all three of them spent some time last night catching up, taking pictures, and Ozzie was scoping out Eduardo's biceps last night, clearly impressed by the night he had at the plate. Guys.
Well, thank you, Audra. Guillen, former Rookie of the Year winner here. And
one of my favorite players. One of my favorite players and manager.
And then managed the 2005 team that won the World Series, ending the first long Chicago championship drought. Of course, the Cubs a couple years ago. They went from 1917 through the scandal of 1919 and finally won it all in 2005. 1-2, and a check swing. And it counts 2-2 to Delmonico. Twins still have some arms they would like to leave unused tonight. Addison Reed pitched in 3 ball games in a row. Didn't pitch last night, and the second off day would benefit him greatly. Ryan Presley pitched in 3 of the last 4 days. Twins would like to avoid using him and have him fresh for tomorrow.
Both of those guys need, I think they're virtually off limits today.
And strike 3. Delmonico out on strikes 2 down. When you combine the most provocative man in sports with the most interesting man in sports, you got a heck of a show. You get opinion that cuts through the hype. Catch Speak for Yourself with Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock, weekdays at 4 p.m. Central, only on FS1. And now Wellington Castillo. The odd man out, first in the rotation, and now apparently in the bullpen is Phil Hughes. He was moved to the bullpen but hasn't pitched yet. His last outing was in St. Petersburg in a start on April 22nd. So we're getting on to 2 weeks without Phil Hughes being in a game. 1 strike to Castillo. And McGill really pumping the strikes in there here in the 8th inning.
And showing off a good breaking ball to go with that 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Tight rotation. Sharp, quick, late break.
Three pitches for McGill. It's plausible perhaps that he might be asked to get a 3-inning save here tonight. And a good 8th inning. McGill with a quick 1-2-3-8. And Eddie Rosario will lead off the 9th for the Twins.
flat hit. There's no question about it. He started early with an infield base hit to drive in a run, then got a breaking ball in the middle of the plate, and he hammered for a 2-run shot. Would follow that up by getting a breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. He hit off the left center field wall for a double, driving in a couple. He's had a big night.
And he will lead off the 9th inning against Beck. Garver and Morrison will follow.
And if you hit one to the wall here, you just run till you're out.
Trying to get the cycle.
Triple shy of a cycle.
You know, one of the reasons I really like Adrian Beltre was 3 years ago, I believe, and he'd already hit for the cycle. And he needed a double. And it was the 8th inning, let's say. And he hit one, I forget, gap, down the line, whatever. And he hustled to get a triple. He ran past the double that would have given him the cycle.
He ran past the cycle, yeah.
And went to third base.
For me, that counts.
I mean, that's a cycle to you?
That's a cycle.
2 triples is like a double?
A single, 2 triples, and a home run. I mean, yeah. I mean, he could have stopped. He was playing the game correctly.
Out of center, unless the ball gets by angle. Rosario will have to settle for his 4th hit. And he's aboard leading off.
There was a chance that could have happened.
May 15th is Scrubs Night at Target Field. A limited number of Scrubs Night theme night ticket packages are available that include a game ticket and Twins branded scrub pants. Go to twinsbaseball.com/scrubs to learn more about the Scrubs Night theme night offer. Mitch Garver with an RBI single and a walk in 4 plate appearances. Down and away ball 1. Twins ran after the leadoff single in the 8th. Lamar was thrown out. There's a strike 1-1. Phil Hughes is getting loose. He may get the 9th inning. Rosario getting the first 4-hit game for a Twins player this year. And fouled off the bat of Garver. One and 2. Two and 2.
Garver up there battling with 2 strikes. I thought he did a nice job with Lance Lynn. Got him in the strike zone, kept him in near the strike zone, called a good game, called for some good breaking balls. It seemed like they were on the same page, Lynn and Garver today. I don't think they're going to run here, Chris. I think they're done with that.
Two and 2 to Mitch Garver. Not yet. And Garber strikes out for the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Morrison, who has a walk and 3 strikeouts.
Pretty good fastball right in under the hands, 95 miles an hour, good location. Beats Mitch on that one.
Morrison walked and scored in the 3rd inning, and then the 3 strikeouts in and around that. And he takes outside ball 1. Outside corner, they've been going out there all night long with Morrison.
And he's telling him, he said, you just keep calling it out there. The ball's outside. You just keep calling it out there.
Stu Sherwater engaging Morrison. It was outside.
And he's called pitches further out than that on him tonight. I understand Logan's frustration. let's keep throwing it out there.
Abreu to the bag, and Rosario to second. Rosario thought about third base. That was a good play by Sanchez, the third baseman. With the shift on for Morrison, third base was almost left exposed without a defender. Nicholas Castellanos with 3 hits. Colton Wong with a walk-off home run for the Cardinals over the Cubs. And 4 runs in the 5th. Trevor Bauer had a perfect game going into the 5th. He walked a guy, he walked another guy. There was a base hit, then there was a bases loaded walk and a misplay by Lindor, and the Yankees had their big inning. Here's Adrianza. First time up as a left-handed batter. Strike over the inside corner.
As we mentioned earlier, Adrianza looking to try to get some kind of feeling going at the plate. Hasn't had a lot of at bats this year, just trying to get some kind of rhythm, some kind of feel.
Chopper to the right side, easy play for Garcia. The Twins are done on the top of the 9th. Twins trying to win back-to-back games for the first time in, well, since April 12th when they had their third straight win. It'll be Phil Hughes pitching in the ninth. He'll face Palka, Thompson, and Anderson with a 5-run lead. Jose Rondon, just called up, is in the on-deck circle. He apparently will hit for Thompson, who struck out 3 times. And Palka takes up and away, ball 1. Twins need to figure out whether Hughes can help them in this role at all. Now, this is 1 inning. They'd like to see increased velocity. We saw 92, that's 91, and it's 1-1. The days of Phil Hughes throwing 94, 95 with some movement are sadly behind him and the Twins. Upstairs gets a swing and a miss.
And again, his delivery, we've said this before, back when he was healthy and throwing a little harder, his delivery has always been sneaky.
Rosario, or Lamar I should say, in center, makes the catch on a deep fly ball, 1 down. Tomorrow it'll be Kyle Gibson going for the Twins, and you can see his 6 starts so far have been pretty good. James Shields will start for the White Sox. 1 down, and now Rondon just activated, just called up today when Moncada was put on the disabled list. He's a utility type player, getting an at bat here in the 9th inning, which might suggest he'll be in the lineup tomorrow. And then Anderson. 91 off the plate.
So we'll see how Phil Hughes, how hitters react to Phil Hughes. I started to say when he was throwing 93 or 94, it always played more like 96 or 7 because of his short arm kind of sneaky delivery. We'll see if now at 91, 92 miles an hour, if his fastball plays just a little bit better than that.
2-0 to Rondon. Fouled away. Two failed starts. And the Twins handed the ball to Fernando Romero in the 5th starter spot, and Romero was brilliant at target field. Swing and a miss, 2-2. They've been just fastballs, I believe.
Yep, all fastballs.
91, 92, every pitch.
Yep. Always been a strike thrower. Looking to hit the outside corner with a fastball.
Fouled away.
You see that more and more as we showed you that Mitch Garver getting signed, where depending on which finger is put down, which one finger is put down, that indicates location as well. That's the outside fastball. There's a breaking ball.
And it's fouled away. I think you can see Garver's got some luminescent fingernail polish.
Yep.
Make it a little bit easier for the pitcher to see it.
So if he puts down the index finger, it's a fastball in or up. If he puts down the little finger, it's a fastball away.
10 pitches, 7 strikes for Hughes.
They used to pat. See, there's a fastball away. Used to pat to the outside part of the leg, but they don't show that movement anymore.
Another foul ball.
You can see why. If the catcher puts down a 1 and wants it outside, and then he pats his outside leg a little bit, even if he tries to keep it inside leg where no one can see, you can see that movement, and you can kind of tip off to somebody, tell the hitter he's going away. That's a fastball.
Rondon putting up quite a battle here. 2-2. That fastball clocked at 93. And Phil was down in Fort Myers while the team was on the road starting the season. In one of his outings, they had a pitch clocked at 94. Five foul balls from Rondon. And now one hit down the line, and that's a foul ball. Quite a battle here. Hughes got the first out on a deep fly ball, hoping to put Rondon away here and then get after Tim Anderson.
Well, he's throwing him all fastballs, so until that last one. So Rondon pretty much on the fastball. Then he hung the breaking ball, just missed it foul.
And another foul ball. We may have a Brandon Belt type of a bat here. That took what? It was 23 pitches, I believe. Week and a half ago, something like that. 7 fouls in this plate appearance from Rondon. And another foul ball. And out of play.
You can look at this two ways. This is, especially in a bat like this, it's a nice battle by the hitter. On the other hand, as a hitter, when you foul off that many pitches, especially when you've seen six fastballs, if you've seen 12, 13 fastballs fouled off 6 of them, one of those you should have hit, and maybe way more like 5 of them. You should not have fouled off. Should put it in place hard somewhere.
And a liner, and Escobar climbs the ladder. Great at bat for Rondon, and he hit a bullet. And Escobar was there to spear it for out number 2. And the fans haven't had much to cheer about tonight. They're cheering Rondon's at bat. And Escobar hearing it from the Chicago dugout, which is up the third base side. Here's Tim Anderson. Missing inside, ball 1. Twins have not issued a walk tonight, which, given the fact that Lance Lynn was the starter, is a significant development. 6 innings. Another blast to left off the bat of Anderson. He's got 2 home runs tonight and a double. And it's 8-4. In the on-deck circle, looking at all those fastballs. And he had something he liked and hammered it.
Fastball that was moving in on him, but he got the big end of the bat. We said he's got a lot of life in his bat, and until he proves that he'll take some pitches, boy, there just isn't a whole lot of need to throw him too fat of strikes, especially with a fastball. He'll swing at a lot of pitches that you wonder what he's looking at. That's what I was getting at earlier with Tim Anderson. A lot of talent and a lot of strikeouts and a lot of getting himself out on pitches he doesn't need to swing at. But you throw the ball in the middle of the plate, he's pretty good.
Swing and a miss by Angle, 0-2. And Hughes would love to get a strikeout or some soft contact. Everything has been hit pretty hard here in the ninth. The deep fly ball, the liner to Escobar, and the line drive home run. 21st pitch for Hughes. 0-2 to Angle. And that takes care of it. Hughes pitches the ninth. But importantly, Lance Lynn got his first win as a Twin. He gave up 2 runs over 6 innings and did not walk a man.
That's a big win for the Twins with Lance Lynn on the mound, getting his first win and pitching in the strike zone as well as he did. Big step forward.
So the Twins will celebrate tonight and go for a series win tomorrow afternoon, with Kyle Gibson going to the mound against James Shields.